Very, very interesting topic that we also have to discuss. So over the weekend, Seti Nash, who is from Sacramento, you were actually the person who alerted me to this.
I talked to him.
He brought little Woody to Rollin 60s territory. I don't think that he thought that this was a big deal, and it seemed like everybody that he brought little Woody around was just as happy. You know, they definitely weren't looking at Woody as a snitch. They were looking at him as, this is the funny motherfucker from the YSL trial and all these 20 versus 1s. They were happy to have him there. Once they leave,
the internet
starts talking. Eventually, Seti Nash is forced to issue an apology for bringing Woody there. So then he ends up calling into the No Jumper show, at which point somehow we end up politicking about the video from the news of Seti Nash allegedly spilling the beans about somebody. Seti Nash really came with a bunch of excuses that to us, well, I mean, regardless of if I believe them or not, it left the entire room laughing their asses off. Everybody was dying at the idea of him being a crisis actor.
So here's the thing. I talked to Seti.
Okay.
I waited a couple days to go by and I called him.
Mm-hmm.
I like Seti. He all right dude with me. He didn't say some bullshit about me, but he all right, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, Seti's from Sacramento, lives in Atlanta, and he claims Rollin 60s. Mm-hmm. Therefore, he don't have the right rank or the respect to dictate or call nothing. Right? It's one thing if Seti was running around Wilshire or Hollywood with Woody. They were in the heart of the 60s with real Rollin 60s. You get what I'm saying? So at this point in time, it's no longer on Seti. Now, for what Seti told me, he said dudes was clout chasing and Woody wasn't even supposed to go over there. They wanted to take him over there. He said they called him when the internet went crazy and told him to come back because now they're getting calls from them people that don't understand the internet, right? So they forced Seti to go back over there. Now, from what Seti tell me, and I'm in shock, he said one of the dudes that kept talking, who was one of the main dudes that wanted to bring Woody over there, knowing Woody's situation, right? Seti told him, well, you want to get out? We can get out and run the fade. They say dude didn't want to run the fade, which is a little different for that neighborhood because at that point in time, it's a pack out that's going to happen. Now, Woody, how it's supposed to went when he went over there, he should be mad at Seti right now a little bit because they would have supposed to been stripped, stomped out, marked out, and sent on the way. But the fact that it was a couple days before they hood day, and it's so much that's been going on over there with all the indictments and RICOs and all that, it just killed more of the morale of what that stands for. But who it was a good look for was Woody. I'm telling all y'all right now, Woody is the top rat, king rat. You can't nobody say nothing to him. And me and Woody FaceTime. I talk to Woody. We talk crazy to each other. I call him rats. He calls me things, and then we do our little thing and we get off the line. But the fact that he had the heart and the balls to even get in that car and allow himself to be transported over there with his jewelry on, with his money in his pocket. Hey, listen, I think Woody should get rat immunity.
From the streets.
From the streets.
Well, it feels like he mostly has.
Yeah, he should get.
Because he's really outside.
Well, Atlanta, he's outside.
Right, yeah.
He's quieting up doing what he's doing. And I seen him. He started a car wash in a gardening business that he's personally coming to do. He's telling you, call this number, me and my boys coming to clean cars, my money getting low. So it ain't like you can't bait him in somewhere. He ain't hiding from nobody. So far as I'm concerned, Woody gets rat immunity.
Okay, but here's a very important question.
That's it. So, he earned it.
Is Woody going to the 60s? Is that controversial because it's just a bad look for the set to be associated with somebody who has been a high-profile witness in this case? Or is it controversial because of the actual practical reality that this dude could see something illegal going on there and then could communicate with law enforcement about it? Because I saw some people who seemed more concerned about that option, that who knows. And from my perspective, you go to somebody's hood, you're not getting exposed to anything aside from maybe seeing a gun sticking out of somebody's waistline. Maybe somebody's got some personal amount of drugs or whatever, but it's not like I highly doubt Woody was exposed to anything significant.
Or maybe you got a camera in your medallion, or maybe you got a listening device on. All of the above.
Okay.
Everything you said, all of the above. But again, shout out to my boy Troy Ave. The streets is a myth. Now, Seti, on the other hand, had to tell him, Seti, I want to hear it. What you mean, Wack? Oh, no. I sit down and do an interview with 6ix9ine. Everybody got a lot to say. Now, you say this is your friend. You do business with him, right? So help me understand it. He said, no, Wack, I get where you coming from. Right? Now, this other thing you talking about, said he sent me paperwork and documents and tried to explain, and I told him, if you gave any statements to law enforcement about a description or whereabouts, about gunshots and what direction they might have ran, you in violation if that's what happened. Because now you just told them where to go check for cameras. See, everywhere we go now, you on camera.
Right.
Right? So if you did any of that, but that's why when you said you was addressing it, and it's funny because I seen it this morning, something popped up this morning of him explaining it. So actually he was sitting with you in this one. So I think you've been on him for a while about it.
Yeah, I did ask him about it in an interview a little while back, but I don't even honestly remember what his thing was. But there's another YouTuber named Byron Blake, who I wasn't originally familiar with.
That's A-Verb's guy.
Okay, but last night I ended up watching a video. He made a whole series of videos about Seti, and he has gone a bit deeper and has found other situations that he believes makes Seti a rat.
Maybe we need to bring Seti and Byron in.
Where's Byron live?
I believe he's out of St. Louis, but I can call my brother A-Verb.
Okay.
I can call A-Verb. Remember I put the fire out between Hitman Holler and A-Verb.
I don't know that Seti would necessarily want to sit with this Byron Blake guy, because Byron Blake seems like he's got quite a bit of animosity towards him. But if we could, it would be great to have somebody who was really, because Seti, I think, wants to come back next week and do some content about
I'm going to reach out to A-Verb and see if Byron want to come out. You know, everybody know once they sit at this table is to have a conversation. Even you know that, right? You know, when I talked to Yak Gotti last night, I assured him, because I ain't going to lie, he was moving around Dolo, 2 a.m. I said, man, where you at? I said, where you at, 5 a.m? He like, I'm out here on the West Coast. That's how the conversation came up. So, you know, he like, Wack, I said, look, we're going to come in and have a conversation. He said, nah, Wack, I can't be mad at you for what you saw. He had his reasons for doing it, and that's when it's always funny, as you've seen what I did with what's the Armenian dude?
G-Face.
G-Face. You know, one thing
your finest hour.
One thing you know about me, Adam.
Best thing
one thing you know about me. If you sit your ass in this seat and you didn't did it and I got it, and you try to dance, your ass is in trouble. The best thing you can do is just own up to it, cop to it, and say, so what, and what they gonna do about it. That's what it is. So G-Face was calling fake attorneys and DAs, all kind of stuff. And he lucky they saved him, because I had his paperwork that day. I was just setting him up for part 2. Remember I told him.
But then we never actually did it.
He went to jail.
Right.
Remember I said, I'm going to go have him pull it. You might be right. I already had it. You know, he Ratatouille. Master Splinter on steroids. That's a fact. But, you know, shout out to Yak Gotti. He stood on it last night. He told me he know he did wrong. He did too much talking. You know what I'm saying? He learned from it. His thing is nobody is in jail for anything he did. My thing is the things you said in that interrogation room, you're not supposed to say. You know, I can't say, you want me to wear a wire? I wear a wire to get more information. And then when I see you said, Adam, I was just saying that to spin him. That don't work like that. This is why you exercise your Fifth Amendment right. Just remain silent.
No, definitely. But it's funny because this is all kind of the sequel to what happened in Atlanta. If you remember, we did the Lil Woody interview and Brig Baby happened to be with us. Look at that. Yeah, that's a nice house.
Crazy.
Brig Baby was with us, and Seti Nash was like the one who kind of set it up and brought Lil Woody through, which Brig Baby, remember, he took photos with him. I'm going to be honest with you, like, I observed how that all went down.
I know you did.
Brig Baby took the photos with him because it would have been awkward as to not take photos with him. They had just been standing. They were having conversation. They were getting along fine. And then people wanted to take photos. You know, the way that people, anytime they see two somewhat famous people standing together talking, they're going to try to start taking photos. Woody's like, oh, yeah, let's get a photo, whatever. And then Brick ends up in a trick bag from just being around.
This is my thing. And I've led by example. Hey, bro, if you deal with somebody in any capacity, stand on it. Nobody ever figured out I was doing business with 6ix9ine. I told the people. Nobody ever figured out that Jason Lee, who is openly gay dude, is one of my great friends. I tell the people, whoever you dealing with, no matter what it is, stand on it and you ain't got to worry about it. If Brick Baby is cool with Lil Woody, which it looked like y'all went here, went there, just say, hey, look, bro, whatever he got going on, he all right with me.
But the thing is that Brick knew what it was going to look like. Brick had already in advance said, yo, when y'all do the interview, I'ma just chill because it's gonna look kind of crazy. But then it's in the parking lot afterwards when everybody's hanging out, and he
might as well should have did the interview.
Yeah.
We would have respected if he did the interview because being real, Brick could have asked him some questions.
Well, to be fair, Brick was texting me questions during the interview because Brick knows all kinds of shit about Atlanta shit, Young Thug shit.
That's what I'm saying.
That he knew good questions to ask. He just didn't want to be on camera for it. But then when it came down to taking a picture hanging out in the parking lot, he didn't want to be the jerk that was like, no, I can't take a picture with you. Like he just wanted to avoid that awkwardness, which I know Brick very, very well. And I know that he's not the kind of person that wants to make everything awkward so that he can make his little statement right there. He's kind of more down and just sort of go with the flow, and that ended up kind of biting him in the ass.